Okay, folks. So now we've booked our cruise. We've paid for the ticket. We've got some spending money put aside. Now let's travel. Let's talk about it. So, folks, we're going to talk about what do we do now that we've paid for the cruise and we've got our spending money ready to go. What are some of the things we should be doing before we actually get to the cruise? Now, don't know about you folks, but one of the things that I like to do is generally we download the app that will be used on board the ship. For example, Princess has the Medallion app. Carnival has the Carnival Hub. I'm pretty sure that Holland American and all the other cruise lines have a similar type of app. Now, suggestion. We would suggest that you download the app and follow all the steps in the app so that you can get ready to cruise. So, for example, on the Medallion app for Princess, it gives us some pointers. Number one, let's go through the contract, the sail contract. The next step is let's have a look at some of the excursions. Let's get our documents in place. And talking about documents, folks, number one, if it needs it, make sure your visas are up to scratch. When we went on the Carnival Horizon, we had to get a visa, and the visa was the TSA. It was a travel thing that we could do online. Some cruise ships will allow you to do that. Cruise lines will allow you to do that, or countries will allow you to do the TSAs. It's not the cruise ship, it's the country will allow you to do something similar to a TSA. Otherwise, you need to organize a visa ahead of time. And that's one of the reasons why I think travel agents are so important. The other thing that we need to do, not only do we get our visas in place, but the next thing is, guys, travel insurance. Certain countries will not allow you in there as a visitor unless you have travel insurance. And one of those countries is Fiji. So make sure that you've got travel insurance. And I don't know if any of you have seen some of those rescues from out at sea where there's been a casualty on board a ship and they've had to send out helicopters to come and pick them up and then take them into hospital because the cruise ship hasn't had an opportunity to come into dock and board. So please, folks, take out travel insurance. It can go into the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Also, I would suggest that, folks, not only do you have all your paperwork in place, but make sure you've got some cash in the local currency. Okay, we don't so much as need cash for on board the ship because everything is done in the folio of the country that the ship goes out of. So, for example, out of Australia, all cruise ships use Australian dollars. Out of the US, all cruise ships will use US dollars. And you can put that onto your onboard credit and use that accordingly. But if you're going if you're going off the ship in any country, definitely have some of the local currency so that you can spend. For example, if you went from Melbourne through New Zealand, you'd want to be using New Zealand currency when you're in New Zealand. If I went as we did when we went on the Carnival Horizon through this through the South Pacific, through the South Caribbean, we ensured that we were able to spend US dollars wherever we needed. And we needed US dollars while we were over there. So we had some local currency. If you're going to Europe, make sure you got some euros. If you're going to the UK, make sure you've got some pounds, etc. So now let's look at the excursions. Now, look at the excursions of the ship you're going to go on. And my suggestion is, in a lot of cases, if you're going to do ship excursions, do them early. If you book them early, not on the cruise, you will save some money. Or also, in that, You might want to look at booking some of your specialty dining restaurants. For example, we're going on the Grand Princess in March. We are going to be going on the first night to the Crown Grill, and we booked it early, and we know that we're going to get there on the day we want to go, which is the first night, and B, we got in there before the price rise came in. So folks, book things early. Everything that you do is on the app of the cruise ship that you will use on board. Also, part of your documentation, if you've had your COVID vaccines, you've got all your vaccination history, make sure you've got that with you. If you're traveling out of Australia on any cruise ship, you will need to have a RAT test done, and you can have a photocopy of the results. So if you get one of those, go down to the local pharmacy and you get a test, you can take that test at home, take a photograph of it with a date stamp, and show that to the customs people as you board the ship. Out of Australia right now, you need to have a RAT test, a negative RAT test. It's the only test we're happy for you to fail. A negative RAT test, and you may, depending on the cruise line, may be required to be wearing masks on board the ship. So those are our tips for organizing yourself before the cruise. Let's see what's going to come up next. Have a great day.